Hey, Coach, so glad you found us. Couple things. First of all, subscribe. Please go over and do that. That will keep you updated with everything that we're doing. Second thing is go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. If you want to put hardware in your basement, if you want to win more games, let me help you do that. I will give you my personal email address. We'll do one-on-one calls. We'll do office hours, less than $1 a day, 14-day free trial. Go over and check it out. Let's head off to the video.
All right, welcome to Coaching Youth Hoops. Coach, how are you?
It's doing all right.
I like
Great day.
today's topic.
Great day.
I think I might be an expert on today's topic, actually, considering I've coached for 35 years.
You might.
I know I
Yeah.
might be an expert. All right, but before we do that, let's give a big shout out to our sponsors, Coach.
Yeah, coaches, go check out coachingyouthhoops.com. Explore the navigation in coachingyouthhoops.com. And the reason I say that, there's a bunch of free resources there for you to help you along with your coaching journey, but you'll also find anything from practice plans to offenses and defenses you can use to level up your game this season. Now's the time to start planning. Go to coachingyouthhoops.com.
All right, so today we're going to talk about burnout.
Burnout. Yeah. How do you cope with burnout as a coach? How do you maintain enthusiasm when you're just feeling overwhelmed?
Yeah. So I'll talk off season. I'm gonna talk
Okay.
non-season because I don't tend to get burned out too much in the season. And I think it's probably an adrenaline thing.
Probably,
Um,
yeah.
so I think the key is, first of all, my rule of thumb is when the season ends, and this is always, there's been a couple rules that I've had that have helped me coach for as long as I've coached. First of all, the first
Hmm.
rule was we always went on a spring break trip as a family. That was the rule.
Mm.
Like the 4 months from November to March, the rule was spring break was off limits for anything. And we always went somewhere as a family. So it was kind of a rebonding, dad's back kind of thing. um, so that was the
Gave
first thing.
somebody, gave the whole family something to look forward
Yeah,
to
maybe
as
dad's
well.
back.
Yeah.
Um, but I think the key to not burning out is turning off. Like, so our season ended about a month ago, be more than that by the time this goes up. But you know, end of March, mid March is when your season tends to end in Wisconsin. Hopefully, late March. But and then I don't tend to do any open gyms. I take a month off. Like, not that I'm not doing
Mm-hmm.
basketball things, but they need a break. I need a break. There are a lot of them playing spring sports, so it's almost like a dead period for me. That we'll just after mid-April we'll start revving up again and opening gyms up and doing that kind of stuff. But I think it's important to take a gap and a break and a deep breath and like you know
Hmm.
um
Yeah.
so that's the first thing I've always done. I think that helps because I'm already energized for next season. Because I just step away. I literally step away. I don't think about it during spring break. I don't do any of that. So I think that's the first thing is to take a break. Second thing is to have um something else. Like doesn't matter what level you're coaching at, but you
Like a
need.
hobby or something, is that what you're
Yes,
talking
like
about?
fishing. I
Hmm.
like fishing. You
Yeah.
went for a
Yeah.
walk when we were together. You went
Yeah.
for a walk, and I went fishing. That was relaxing to me, because there's no phone, there's nothing. It's me and a lake, and I like that. That's yes. So it's something like that that's not basketball related or not coaching related. I think is important, um, from a mental standpoint, from a physical standpoint, from all of those things. I think that's a super thing. Um, as far as in season burnout, I think it's like you got to remember it's a marathon and not a sprint.
Hmm.
And I think people that burn out tend to think it's a sprint, and it's like, you know, things are going to happen, obstacles are going to occur. How can you deal with those as they happen during the season? I think they're going to happen. Um, but it's how you react to what happens more than the actual thing happening, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I think it's also just recognizing your mindset when for one of I had a woman volunteered with on the school board that I was at, and she goes, when you're volunteering, and when you get to the point when the organization you're volunteering for, you feel like they owe you something, that's the time to quit, right?
Good idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, and I always kept that in the back of my mind is because then you stop, you're done. Like or maybe you just need a break from it. I mean, there's days, right? Because, like you, I work full time and then I go and coach.
Right.
And there's days that I literally do not want to drive to the gym.
Right.
But once I'm there, it's a different story,
Yeah.
right? Um, what I've done over the years is saying I got better. I'm not great at it. I got better at saying no, right, to
Right.
things. Also, to looking at my schedule, like to streamline it a little bit more, to be more efficient. Saying no, get rid of things. Again, if my
I think
wife was
that's a
hearing
big one.
that, she
Saying
would
no is
laugh at
good.
me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but definitely, recently, I merged my AAU program with another one. And I did that because I was I just want to coach and I didn't want to deal with the back office stuff anymore because I knew if I had to do both, I just it just got to a point where I had to give up one or the other, right? I'm not going to give up coaching, right? So I had to give up the back office stuff, and you know, people are like, oh, I can't believe you've built this for so long, and now you're letting it go, and um, but it was the right thing to do in the next evolution of where I was going to go. Just made a lot of sense for me to do it.
Well, I think if you're growing, you don't burn out as much either. It's when you get stagnant, you tend to burn out.
Interesting. Why do you think that? Like,
Because when you're growing, you're expanding, you're learning, you're
Mhm.
doing new things. When you're expanding your horizon, I think people tend to get burned out. I see it in the teaching profession. People teach
Mm,
when they get bored or they get, they're
yeah,
they're
true. When you
not
get bored, yeah, I
progressing.
can see that. Yeah.
They're not progressing. Then there's and some of it's burnout, some of it's boredom, some of it's like I don't know. But I think they're related. I think those things are kind of correlated.
And then just also, when you can't give back anymore, you can't give to the kids, and you're finding yourself just, I don't know, upset, angry, maybe is the right word. It's time to, right? Either take a step back or quit completely. But a lot of times it's more about, okay, I just need a couple weeks off. I need that month off that you mentioned, right? If you're an AAU coach, you're kind of doing this year round, you do need breaks. I tried to hold one day a week where it's non-basketball and even non-work for that matter. Again, not great at it, getting a lot better at it, but I really try to hold that one day sacred where, I just not
What
doing
day of the week
anything.
is that?
Usually today, Sundays. We're recording this on Sunday. Well, like I said, I'm not great at it, but uh, no, but this to me is, it's like the other thing. I don't think this is at work, right? I
Right,
don't
right.
get burned out. I
Talking
enjoy
basketball.
this, and
Yes,
yeah, but it doesn't. I don't want to say that out loud, but I'm leveraging my experience, right? And
right.
you and I are just having a conversation about it, um, versus like I'm not watching a game unfold and
Fold
I'm
and
just
yeah,
using it, my brain capacity, is at full tilt and trying to figure out how to beat the elevator screen that we
right,
got burned on 3 times,
right.
trying to explain it to the kids of how to defend it. And you know what I mean? It's like, you're not, I don't know, this is a
Easy.
little bit different
Yeah.
capacity that you're using. So, okay, so how do you cope with it? How do you, right? How do you maintain that enthusiasm, taking breaks, realizing what you want to do, setting goals as well? Like, where do you want, um, and then just also getting to the point where you say, okay, you know what? It's time to put the whistle down. Time,
Yep.
right? And I'm
Time to
done.
hang the
Yep.
tennis shoes up. I know. I agree.
Yep.
All right. Anything else, coach?
Yeah, coaches, again, the burnout's going to happen if you're on a grind and you're going 100 miles an hour. Just slow down, take a time out, relax, get away from the game for a while, like Coach does at the end of his season. Um, take a day, go have a date with your significant other, and just get away from whatever it is that's burning you out in coaching, or seek other coaches' advice as well. What do they do? And
Right.
maybe it's a problem that you're trying to solve within your team.
Team. All
So,
right. Until next time, coach.
till next time.
Hey, Coach, so glad you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and like before you leave. And also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It's got everything and a roadmap for you to become a better basketball coach. So go over and check it out. And let's head back to the next video, wherever that would be.